Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a little bit. Every time I've watched a anime in its completion, like a series, I usually give a review about it. So I guess this won't be any different from those before. But anyway, as you know, the Netflix adaptation of Cowboy Bebop was canceled, within a week of it debuting. And I'm a person who, owns the complete series of Cowboy Bebop on Blu-ray and DVD. But anyway, I finished watching it. Now, even though Cowboy Bebop came out in the 90s, like I said before, I already knew what the show was about, but I consume a lot of media in just the highlights, just the clips on YouTube because I have a hard time paying attention to things and sitting down and watching something for an extended period of time. But anyway, yeah. So I watched Cowboy Bebop. It took a week, whatever. It was it actually kept my interest the whole time. But after watching it and watching it knowing that I was gonna have to try to get into the mindset of well, how could you make this a live action show? I really analyzed and watched Cowboy Bebop, I guess, in a different light. But anyway, overall, if I'm gonna rate this anime, um, it's the highest rating I ever gave an anime was um was a Goblin Slayer, and I believe I gave that a 9 because nothing's perfect, I guess, but it's um it's just on par with Goblin Slayer, where the story of Cowboy Bebop is great. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I don't really have that many other superlatives. But on a scale of 10, I recommend this anime to everyone. It's great storytelling. Um, there wasn't one moment in Cowboy Bebop where I'm like, well, this is stupid, or this is boring, or this is pointless. You know, it was just good storytelling. It didn't waste anything. Uh, and then what another thing that Cowboy Bebop did, um, it goes into each of the characters, personal lives or background story, but it doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you just enough, and it leaves a lot to the imagination, and that's pretty good. It didn't give you a complete answer. There you go, which is fine. Because it told you just enough. Because if they would have told you the complete answer, it would have made it, I guess, not as interesting. You know. So that's one thing I really like about this story. You get a lot of details, and at the same time, you don't get the whole story. But I mean, anyone can piece it together, and I'm assuming that's what the author was doing, just to leave a because sometimes you need something that's left up to the imagination. But every character um, was very interesting, you know, and and I guess if you want to get to the brass tacks of it, the action scenes, because I love action in anime. The action scenes were I have no complaints about that either. You have your action in space, which is crazy. Action in action on the different planets, and I also love how all the planets are pretty much involved in this. For those of you who are a fan of conspiracy theories, there is a real conspiracy theory where there's millions of people living on every planet. Um, and Cowboy Bebop does that, which is one of the reasons why I loved it in the first place. Because I love conspiracy theories, but yeah, they got people who think that there's millions of people living on Mars, millions of people living on Pluto, millions of people living on Venus. It's crazy, but yeah, so like it does that too, where humans are living on all the planets. Well, they didn't go to all the planets, but humans are living on most of the planets. And I loved how they had how like some of the spaceships can be can be boats, like float on water, fly. I just think that's really cool, like having spaceships that are space worthy and then sea worthy. I think that was a really good concept. And also, Ed's a girl, even though Ed looks like a well, kind of looks like a boy, but Ed's a girl. In the Netflix adaptation, Ed was very annoying and like a boy. I don't know why. That see half the reason why Ed wasn't annoying is because Ed was a girl. There's just something about like a girl acting the way Ed acted, and it's not annoying. It's like cute. But having a boy, like if Ed was a boy, you would actually find it annoying. Yeah. So now I'm talking about the Netflix adaptation and like them changing things and why it sucks. Um. Okay. Jet Black. I'm not sure exactly what race Jet Black is, but I'm pretty sure he's white in the anime. Pretty sure he's white. The way, I've watched enough anime to, like you could tell. But Jet Black is a white male. Very imposing fellow. Great background story of him being a cop. Um, and making him black and an absentee father in a Netflix show seems racist, actually. Because, of course, a black guy's an absentee father. Jet Black doesn't have kids. Like, he has an ex, but, and that story's handled beautifully in the anime. And I don't know why the live action they made Jet Black black and an absentee father. It just like black and a bad father. That is like okay. So the Jet Black character is in the Netflix adaptation stupid. The Jet Black character in the anime really good and very interesting on his own without adding anything to it. You don't have to add uh, elements to Jet Black to make him work in a live adaptation. You could have just had him. You could have plucked out Jet Black from the anime and just made him word for word just exactly the same as a real life character, and that would have worked out great. But they completely changed Jet Black. He's not an absentee father. I don't know why they ruined his character like that. Um, Faye Valentine in the anime anyway, she's an Asian chick. Um, and her costume is actually her character. And because Faye doesn't know who she is, and so and I know it's a cliche in anime where like every single scene the character wears the same outfit usually, but it makes sense for Faye because like she's a femme fatale, you know, her looks are like a weapon, and it's the one constant thing about her. and her character changes throughout the show, or she does learn to I don't know what this. How do you say this? I guess learn to have a home. There you go. Her arc is trying to find a home, and apparently she was at it the whole time. She's a guns second person. She is not a guns a blazing person. She's more smart than anything. But yeah, just the fact that they couldn't get her costume right, that's not Faye Valentine. And also, Faye isn't a lesbian. Faye likes guys. She even fell in love once with a guy. In her past anyway. Okay. So making her a lesbian just makes no sense and completely changes the character. Completely changes the character. So like Netflix making her a lesbian, just that's not Faye Valentine. And then her outfit, Faye Valentine would not dress like that. Faye Valentine would wear the short shorts. She would wear the thigh high socks, the boots. She would wear the crop top, and what I guess that's a sports bra. I mean, I don't know, but like the crop top under the crop top, that fits Faye perfectly. So that wasn't Faye Valentine in the Netflix um, adaptation, and then and then Spike Spiegel. I think they just had a Korean actor play Spike Spiegel because they just wanted an Asian character to be the lead. But yeah, it's Spike Spiegel should have been played by a white guy in his 20s. He should have been played by a white guy in his early 20s. That's who should have played Spike Spiegel in the live adaptation, because he's in his 20s. Spike Spiegel has, well, let's say young man's problems of the heart, relationship problems, a longing for someone who I guess he left behind. I guess. Not trying to romanticize it, just kind of what it is. So by having a Korean actor who's in his almost 50 play Spike Spiegel, it just once again it's just a character in name. That's all it is. It's just a character in name. And by Netflix changing, I guess, the races and stuff, I don't know if they're trying to be inclusive, because it's pointless. In the anime, because they're world hopping and stuff. There's every race. I mean, not that it matters, but that matters to some people. If you would have just had all the characters verbatim, just copied them exactly from the anime show, you would have had the United Nations of characters. The United Nations of characters. So there was no reason to change anyone's race. I mean, like, I guess they made Jet Black black because, like, are they trying to be funny because of his name? Because that's stupid. Having a black guy named Jet Black is dumb. But also, it's just that you didn't need to make one of the quote unquote main characters black, because there's plenty of black characters in the anime. So it's not like anyone was gonna be like, how could you not do this? How could you just forget black people existed? Well, that wouldn't have happened if they'd have just kept every character the same. There'd have been plenty of black people in the Netflix live adaptation. Okay, so changing an anime from whatever era, but this one happens to be from the 90s, to fit modern times, that's stupid. You have to make up your own your own thing then. And then by changing things to modernize it, it lost the feel. Like when you watch Cowboy Bebop, it has a feel. Like it feels like it was made in the 90s. From the music, just from the animation style, from the action, you know, from the just from the it felt even though like it felt like grunge in the way like grunge music was created because it was always raining in Seattle, so people started doing music in their basement, and when the sun came out, it sounded like Nirvana. And like Cowboy Bebop kind of feels like a manga that was written in someone's basement, and then when the rain stopped, it came out and like, oh look, Nirvana. So I don't know why they changed it, unless they just wanted it to fail. But if they actually would have done, I'm not getting a shot by shot, just copy the anime and made it real, and not changed any of the characters' race or genders, it would have been actually really good. And people wouldn't have complained. Because, yeah, I still don't understand why they made Jet Black a black guy and made him a bad father. That just made no sense. How come how come they didn't actually get an actress that could play Faye Valentine? Faye Valentine is tough, but somehow at the same time fragile. Like once again, she's not a guns a blazing person. Her guns don't do the talking. She's a smart character. Like she dresses like that. It's almost like how a poisonous snake, or just in nature, like something poisonous is all colorful and like stands out. Well, that's kind of like what Faye is. Like she wears that outfit, it stands out. It's like okay, you better watch out. Like they really messed up, but back to the anime. Yeah, I would give it a 10. I mean, I saw nothing wrong with this anime, and this story was great from the beginning to the end. I not 1 second was I ever like, oh my god, well that's lame, or why are they doing this? Every episode was interesting. Um, everything, every story arc they had was fulfilled, and things that were left open because it actually made the story better. Sometimes you don't need all the answers. And everyone's background was flushed out just enough. And that's my review of Cowboy Bebop. You guys have a good one. Peace.